Hello there, welcome back. Have you ever looked at a pixel and thought, wow, this would be a lot cooler if it were 2692 times bigger? I know, me too. So today we are going to build a giant LED wall in my kitchen for cheap because I'm broke. Alright, let's go. So a while ago I built this color organ out of traffic lights, which can be controlled with a keyboard. And during testing I figured out that this works just as well hooked up to some LED strips instead of traffic lights. In fact, I think that was kinda the intended use case since I abused the RGB channels to power the red, green and yellow of the traffic light. Thing is, while these LED strips are pretty cheap and nice for indirect lighting, if you actually want to get some bigger panels, you're really gonna have to pay. Wait, hold on, look at this. 40 bucks for this tiny ceiling panel, 70 bucks for the Twitch hexagons, and 285 euros for this dumb-ass floor panel. What is this thing made of? Bulletproof glass? Even with this one, which looks like pretty good value for 144 for 2 square feet, I would need around 7.5 panels for the wall I want to build, which adds up pretty quickly. So if I can build this for under 200 bucks, even if I make it twice as scuffed, it's still pretty worth it if it's 5 times cheaper. In truth, all you really need for a light panel are some LEDs on a back panel and a sheet to diffuse it on top. Thing is, the main way to do this would be with some acrylic sheets, but these are you guessed it, pretty expensive to the point where just the sheet on top costs more than the rest of the panel combined, and 2, pretty heavy. I need something cheap and lightweight, and that's when it came to me. Hold on, give me a second. I really only use half of that thing anyway. Here we go, check it out. I stapled that guy over some MDF board and we already have some pretty decent diffusion. And let's face it, that is as good of a prototype as I'm going to build. So here's the shopping list. Get some LEDs, get the shower curtain, maybe a secondary curtain for added diffusion and some cable. And since that backplate is pretty heavy and impractical, I have redesigned the thing so all there is a frame with some ribs for the LEDs and some cross bracing. So then all we have to do is glue in our LED strip, throw in curtain number 1 and then staple the shower curtain on like some canvas to a frame. All in all, this should be pretty lightweight and leave some room to troubleshoot the things from the back without taking the panel off, so I'm pretty happy with that design. Oh yeah, by the way, if you still have some room in the budget, this would be a great time to get out your laser cutter, but yeah, sadly, I don't have one either, so I had these cut out at my university's workshop for 65 bucks. Or if there's a makerspace in your area, just cut them out there, that will probably be cheaper as well. But look at that, now it's time for the fun part, where you get to do a little 3D puzzle. I got these cut from 5mm MDF, so I just get some wood glue, put the frame together like that, put in the ribs, and some corner joints and the cross bracing. And you're done. Look at that beauty, only weighs about 1 kilogram, so it's really lightweight and all things considered pretty rigid. So then you just do it again 14 more times and I'll spare you having to watch all of those because that took forever. And if you thought, wow, that was probably really exciting gluing all of these things together for 5 hours, just wait till you're about the next step, right? Gluing in all the LED strips. This is usually where I'd put on some 5-hour video essay on some unhinged conspiracy theory, but YouTube blocked me from using YouTube Premium, so I now gotta watch ads again. Thankfully, I discovered at that time that David Lynch makes music and I just listened to Star Dreamgirl for 4 hours. And let's just say I think I got out of that day with only minor brain damage. But yeah, last step. Let's just staple the curtains back on and we are ready to take these bad boys out for a spin. You can still kind of see the patterns of the LEDs, but honestly, I kind of like it. Also with that second curtain, it kind of adds some chromatic aberration around the lights, which produces some really trippy effects when the fabric moves. But if you wanted to, you could get a more even look if you either add A, more diffusion, B, put the LEDs closer together, or C, just increase the distance between screen and LEDs. Those should all work. But for now, I'm gonna move on to assemble the entire thing. By the way, quick detour, do you know these frame things they use to mount lights to on stage? Well, your boy thought, wow, this would be a really cool thing to have to mount the screen to, and I just found this old broken pavilion on the side of the road. I bet I can make one of these with 3D printed brackets. So after just 50 hours of 3D printing and 1 hour angle grinding all those pieces to size, I have this. This thing has 0 stiffness and is a bitch to get straight, so I threw this one out, built another one, now with curtain rods and laser cut spacing triangles for a more even assembly. And yeah, I don't know what to tell you, that one is better, but it still wouldn't survive a pull-up. But what are you gonna do? I wasn't allowed to drill into the back wall, okay? Don't judge me. Just wait until I learn how to weld, then it's over for him. I got some friends to help me assemble the panels. They are held together in the back with some screws and 3D printed brackets. That is also something I would revisit for version 2.0, but it worked for the most part, so good enough. And here we go. I control the entire assembly using Touch Designer. Check out my traffic light organ video for more detail on how that works. But since then I've also upgraded the setup so I can control different patterns from a launchpad. Since building them, I've used them for a couple of private and university parties, and I've gotten so much good feedback from people. To wrap it up for the engineering or lighting nerds, first of all, thank you so much for watching, and also some notes if you'd like to iterate on the design. Things I'm happy with. These are really lightweight, you can carry like 10 of them at once stacked like pizza boxes. Also the price, all in all, as I said, I reckon about 200 bucks in total for the entire setup. And 3 looks, while it's not perfectly diffused, I think it's pretty cool. And also I want to revisit hanging it up in different constellations, so some ideas include, but are not limited to, the snake, the flower, or the office. Now for the negatives. Number 1, the cables are really annoying to deal with, especially if you have it mounted to a wall and cannot access the back. Number 2, quick warning, the vinyl from the shower curtain is kinda heat sensitive, so you wouldn't want these lying around in a hot car because I think they will stretch. Also obviously it can get cut or torn if you are not careful, but since the shower curtain is so cheap you can really just replace or retension it and you are back good as new. But yeah, as I said before, thank you so much for watching and see you on the next one. Bye bye.
Das ist ein wahres Meisterwerk.